us rethink this disgrace. Another Bears fan throwing insults in our face. The Packers are the greatest team to ever play the game, even if from time to time they've been a little late. What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Egler here with some gut reactions from the Packers' 27-10 victory over the Chicago Bears. How about that? Nothing like a get-right game against the Chicago Bears on Sunday night to get everything, back in its proper place. Bears fans, you were a little chippy. You were a little talkative this week. Looking at you, Dan Katz, a.k.a. Big Cat, on my Packers shameless Packers pod earlier this week, talking all sorts of junk, and you were very quiet this evening. I can't imagine why. I'm sure you're just chinged up, but good to see everybody in the comments section. Hope you all enjoyed the game. A lot of fun. So many people already looking forward to the Bucks. Man, I don't care about the Bucks right now. All I care about is the fact the Bears still suck. Let's go. Let's do it, people. The Bears still suck. That is correct. Earthquake with a Q. I get it. I love it. Next week going to be tough, though. All right, yeah, it's next week. It's 7 days away. I don't care about next week. I'm marinating in this game. Y'all just want to jump ahead. It's the youth, man. It's the youth. So crazy, just ready to move on. Just enjoy this win. So many great aspects to this victory, whether it's finally leaning into the running game, as we talked about all week. Aaron Jones proving once again what an insane superstar he is, if only the Packers would recognize it. Obviously, things to work on. The fact that the Packers defense seemed to think the game was over, certainly towards the beginning of the fourth quarter, when they clearly were begging the Bears to pass, and the Bears like, nah, we're going to run the ball. And then, it's 2nd and 20 and you allow a first down. I mean, come on, boys. Get off a block. Make it stop. Joe Barry. They're running the ball. It's clear they don't trust Justin Fields, which I understand. But come on, you got to adjust. Also, for the record, for all the whiny Bears fans that were in our live feed and were on Twitter and what have you, yeah, I agree with you. I think Justin Fields scored on that 4th down. But I don't care because they called it. They didn't overturn it, and I don't care. The Bears still suck. And you know what? Here's the best part about all that. All the Bears fans whining about, it should have been a touchdown. Sure, right. Just like when Dez didn't catch it, and every Cowboys fan says he did, doesn't matter. The Packers would have come back and run it all over you, just like the Packers would have run it and passed it all over the Cowboys in that game. So you can cry yourselves to sleep tonight. That's fine. Whatever you need to do to cope, I understand. But just know, even if Justin Fields had been ruled in for a touchdown, the Packers still would have run all over you after that and gotten the victory. So, spare me. Just spare me. There was holding on Campbell on that big run. Adam agreed. There was holding on Campbell quite a few times. I already had somebody on Twitter, talking about Campbell having a poor game. People just don't know what they're looking at and just start spouting off nonsense every chance they get. Blocking was 10 times better. You are not lying. It was much better up front. I don't think it's any mystery. Elton Jenkins gets back into the lineup, and lo and behold, things are a little bit better up front. No doubt about it. Saul, thank you for the super chat. Quay Walker flying around. He's looking like a stud. Man, I'm with you. Quay Walker is fun to watch. There is zero doubt about it. I don't think he had a perfect game. He's still a rookie in the second game, but overall, his athleticism just pops off the screen. And his ability to diagnose and take angles in a way we have not seen from an inside backer on the Packers in quite a while, is very impressive. No doubt about it. What else we got, folks? What a day of football, perfectly capped off by this Packers W. No doubt about it. You love it. Having the whole day kind of stretch out in front of you, get to chill, watch all the other games, not having to stress about anything, but still kind of okay, the Packers play tonight. It's great. And then the 4 o'clock games get up and you're a little bit more nervous. And then it's kickoff and you're ready to go. I'm with you. Mario, thank you for the super chat. Alan Lazard is better than Mooney, -4 yards for 1 catch. All right. Relax. I mean, I think Mooney's a really talented wide receiver and a really talented player. Alan Lazard is clearly a little further along in his NFL career, and with better organization, has history and timing with the quarterback in a way that Mooney does not with Fields. I think Mooney's really talented. I would not be so dismissive of him. Luke, thanks for the super chat. Howard the carry the G's. Love how Razul tackles. Luke, I love and I appreciate getting the bang for the buck there. There's two things going on. Carry the G was amazing. I have 2 left in my fridge here in the studio, so I have to save them. I have to savor them. But yeah, waiting all day. What was crazy, I will say, is spending the entirety of the afternoon watching my entire Twitter feed filled with people enjoying Carry the G and being unable to do so until I get here to the studio. Whew, you talk about some FOMO for real. Diego, thank you for the super chat. Go Pack Go, smile and say cheese, Chicago. It's always great, man. I tell you what, there's no better feeling. I want to speak directly to my fellow Packers fans who live in the city of Chicago right now, because I want to tell you, there is no better week than this week for you. I mean, it happens hopefully twice a year, where Bears fans spend all week talking shit, and then the Packers win, as we know they will, and then you get to spend the next week bringing it all back, bringing up all the receipts, talking all that shit right back into their face. I love it. It's a great, great, great week. Kenneth, thank you for the super chat. Who impressed you the most on our offensive line? That's a good question. I will say, what's funny is the one person I never really noticed, either up or down, was Runyon at left guard. So, I mean, Nyman got beat for a sack, although I will say they put him in a really bad spot when you're going up against Quinn, you're spreading it out 5 wide, and you're asking him to go one-on-one on a 3rd and long. That's not a recipe for success for any tackle in the league, let alone a backup left tackle. But I thought Nyman held his own for the most part. Jenkins showed a little bit of rust, I thought, throughout kind of the first 3 quarters. But, man, it is so apparent how talented he is and how just having him out there raises the level of everyone else's play. And the trickle-down effect, right? Rather than having Newman at tackle and Hansen at guard, when you have Jenkins at tackle and Newman at guard, things are markedly improved. There's zero doubt about it. What else we got? Mark, thanks for the super chat. Packers wide receiver core is best when you can't tell who their number 1 wide receiver is. I mean, absolutely. And it's something we talked about all offseason, right? Like, it's going to be a week-to-week proposition. I think a lot of people assumed that Lazard would come in and get a ton of targets. I did think Rodgers would look his way a few more times and they would have a few more plays called for him. I think the fact that he didn't is much more due to the fact that they were leaning into the ground game. And who knows how many times. And look, we can all get upset as Packers fans and bitch about, Rodgers always wanted to throw the ball or what have you. But it sure seemed like whenever there were cans on, Rodgers knew when to run the ball. The Bears, they did a decent job, I would say, actually, throughout much of the contest as far as trying to disguise and or bringing a guy down late, etc. I think Rodgers, if we're going to be upset when he, is pass happy, got to give him kudos for sticking with the run tonight. We know how much control he has at the line of scrimmage, and they ran the ball a whole lot tonight. I mean, what we got? We got Dillon with 18 attempts. We got Jones with 15 attempts, 132 yards for Aaron Jones, 61 yards for Dillon. I mean, like I said, you can talk all we want about, we must be changing all the plays. Well, clearly he wasn't tonight, or at least he was sticking with the run and or calling the run at, opportune times. So shout out to Rodgers for that. Ryan, thank you for the super chat. Do you think they'll learn from tonight and run the damn ball or go back to bad habits? I think it'll be a case-by-case basis, as Matt likes to say. I think it'll be opponent-specific. I really, really hope they run the ball next week down in Tampa. I thought the Saints did a really good job of, basically trying different ways of approaching running the ball against that Tampa front. Obviously, it's different, a little bit more difficult on the road. Tampa will undoubtedly play the Packers differently than they played the Saints. But, the Saints game fell apart because of the fight and then the ejections. And then the Saints could never kind of get back on track after that. And the Bucs did a much better job in that regard. But overall, I thought the Saints did a really good job of running the football in opportune times. Their plan, especially their openers. I'm really hoping the Packers take a page out of that book. There's zero doubt in my mind that they're going to want to throw the ball. It's who they are. It's in their blood. But I hope the plan calls for let's get Aaron and AJ on track out of the backfield. Really hoping so. Steven, thank you for the super chat. Just left the game. Great crowd, great game. Had a blast with my dad. Bears still and will always suck. Steven, possibly my favorite super chat of the day. That's awesome. I'm so glad you got to see the game. I'm so glad you're joining us here post-game with gut reactions. Thank you so much, brother. Go Pack, go. Forza, thank you for the super chat. What do you think the O-line should look like when Dave gets back? And do you think good play calling makes the biggest difference between the two games? Well, it's tough to say with play calling, right? Because you're always having to throw Aaron Rodgers into the mix at the line of scrimmage and his adjustments and what he sees and what he gets into or gets out of. It's impossible to say. But between, last week and this week, I think it's very clear, Jenkins makes a monster difference up front, probably gives them more confidence in calling more running plays, running behind that right side, etc. As for what do I think the O-line looks like when Dave gets back, I think it'll be Dave at left tackle. I think it'll be what it was tonight with Dave at left tackle over Yash, and the rest of it will be the same. That's my guess. Well, we'll see. Victor, thank you for the super chat. What areas to clean up to match up next Sunday? Well, clearly they got to get A.J. Dillon and Aaron Rodgers on the same page when it comes to handing the ball off. I don't know what happened there. I know Aaron's been talking. I think Aaron was about to talk right when I went live. He may have already said what happened. Maybe A.J. says something in the locker room. But that's unacceptable. And they were cooking on that drive too. Such a shame. The other thing is, if you do have a lead, the game's not over. You still got to stop the run. Still got to get off blocks. Packers did a shameful job in that regard, especially up front, their front seven. Bears ran all over them. And I understand you're playing the pass. I understand you're playing the cover 2 shell, whatever, playing off. I understand all that. But that's why your front seven has to at least be competent. They certainly weren't. Boomer Fitness, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. One of my favorite moments was listening to Chicago Sports Talk after Rodgers' huge comeback in the fourth quarter when his knee was hurt. Oh, it's an all-timer. It's a legendary moment. No question about it. Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Good win with scary parts, but I can't wait to see how this team develops. Super Bowl, baby. See, I love this. We're back to Super Bowl talk. I mean, it's a win. It's a big win. As you say, team will develop. Getting back on track is always great. Doing it against your division opponent at home, always one. You got to love it, right? It's just one step, one week at a time. This league will humble you quick, as Matt always says. Steve, thank you for the super chat. Aaron Jones is very good at football. The Bears still suck. Oh, wait. I got to get ready to super chat that. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. There it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Most certainly they do. The offensive line can't get much worse. Legless, they were good tonight. Like, I don't know what y'all expect, man. Y'all are so demanding. Well, they don't call it entitled town for nothing. No doubt about it. I think Jenkins needs to be the guard again. Shadeed, I doubt that happens anytime soon, but I hear what you're saying, especially when you put him next to Dave. You form a dominant side of the line. There's no doubt about it. But I think they really like him at tackle opposite Dave over anyone else you're going to put out there. Would you want Newman back out there at tackle? Really? And I know people say Nyman, but Nyman has played precious few snaps at right tackle. And it is not as easy as just, switch the guy over there. It is not that simple. 71 had a rough game. I've seen a lot of people saying this about Myers, and there's certainly a handful of plays you can point to. But there were certainly some other plays that no one wants to talk about where he played really well. So, yes, A guy who, by the way, has still not played a full season as a starter yet. Had some rough plays that everyone noticed. No question about it. They will be pointed out on film, talked about, throughout tomorrow when they do the breakdowns. But let's also talk about some of the good stuff. I get it. I get it. People want perfection. People want it to be great all across the board, especially when you're watching Corey Linsley on national television the other night, balling out. Like, I get it. He's still a very young player, and he still had very good moments tonight. Like, I just don't want to bury this guy yet. Mirza, thank you for the super sticker. Greatly appreciated. Aaron, what's the key to beating the Bucks next weekend? Jeremy, staying ahead of the sticks, not turning the ball over. I don't think there's much more needed to be said. Joey, the Bears are irrelevant when the night of the victory, people are already ready for the next game. I know. Like, I'm trying to get people back on track here, but it's a lost cause. Charlie, thank you for the super chat. I feel like people forget how young Myers is. W. I'm with you, man. I very much. Like I said, look, and it's not to take anything away from any of the great centers the Packers have had, but from Scott Wells to Corey Linsley to whoever. But man, they all started with their ups and downs too, Corey included. Corey didn't come out of the gate gangbusters. He didn't make all pro until was one of his last few years in Green Bay. Like, let's be a little patient. Just a little patient. Tyler, thank you for the super chat. Andy Herman is probably right that love is greater than feels at the moment. I mean, Andy Herman is often right, and he is definitely right about that. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out and talking Packers gut reactions from the Packers 27-10 victory over the Chicago Bears. But I got a lot of other stuff to do. Can't thank you enough. I'll be back with Packers Daily tomorrow afternoon. Packers go to 1-1 on the year. Traveling to Tampa is no joke, but they can do it. Got a lot to figure out, a lot to clean up, but a lot of promise, a lot of green shoots, as Corey likes to say, from tonight's game. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow. Go Pack Go.